Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live stream review of Mike Flanagan's newest Stephen King adaptation, The Life of Chuck. So, you know us. We've done this song and dance before, and God knows we're not getting any new subscribers. We see you viewers that watch us and don't subscribe. Heathens, the bunch of you. Subscribe. We can use it, all right? Although, Devin is gone, so there he is. Anyway, just trying to be funny. Keyword being try. So here we are. Let's us get started into our review of Life of Chuck, starting with me, my opinion, because it matters the most. Anyway, first things first, Life of Chuck. Brian De Palma walked so Frank Darabont could run, so Mike Flanagan could break the world record. As a great man once said, made up bad guys are fun, I will grant you, and they're easier to write well. But maybe we could use a few more George Baileys and Andy Taylors. I think characters like that made our country a little bit better during some rather tough times in our history. If I created them, I'd be proud indeed. With that, the world needs people like Chuck. Mike Flanagan, unsurprisingly, hit it out of the park once again with another brilliant adaptation of Stephen King's work. A more existentialist and philosophical affair, but a mighty fine one. An important film that shows the beauty of humanity in a time where we lack it. And with this, I will start my review. But I'm going to do something a little bit different. In honor of the film, I will do my review backwards. I usually start with acting and end with story, but let's start with story in honor of the film and how it presents itself. I do think that the story is something that isn't exactly new, but I don't think Flanagan is trying to reinvent the wheel here, which I appreciate. Just telling a story the way that King has in his original short story, but also doing it in his own way. I mean, the concept is simple. Life is short. That is one of the easiest and most digestible things you can possibly showcase in a movie, yet the way Flanagan makes it work and showcases this idea is still an intriguing one. It does offer those incredibly dark ideas in the opening act, bringing into the allegory of the importance of one life, paralleling the literal end of the universe. How, even though it was only 39 great years, as they say many times in the movie, it showcases the quality of those years that is the most important, as well as showcasing the little human moments that make us, us. It reminded me of films like Starman or A Quiet Place Day One, where it's all about the moments that lift us up and how we don't get burdened by unadulterated sadness, as this film puts it, which isn't shown as a bad thing either. Sadness being one of the most important emotions to help us deal with a lot of the things going on in our life that can lead to bigger and better moments. Inside Out was another big contender in this. There is a lot of philosophical discussions in this film, which can be a turnoff. God knows it was for many people with Midnight Mass. But I always love a good Flanagan monologue, and here is no exception. I also appreciate how it's in reverse order, showing us the unadulterated sadness about the end of quite literally everything. But by the end of it, we are lifted up once again by showing us the more important things in life, the journey to get to that end, the joyous moments in life that make life life. As another great man once said, being realistic in life is being optimistic. Cynicism is the opposite of realism. That is what this movie is going for with how it tells its story, at least to me. I know other reviewers have viewed it as the opposite, more of a harrowing story about the death of everything. But to me, I focus on the beginning and the middle, or in this case, the middle and the end with how this story is told. But not to say the end isn't important, because as I mentioned, it showcases how important one life is and one life can be, which is why I see this described as the 21st century version of It's a Wonderful Life. While not quite as good or as important as that film, I can see the idea of how the effect of one man has to the people around him. For George Bailey, it was his small town of Bedford Falls, family, and friends. While here, it's the literal universe ending, purely as allegory, of course, which means it will go over the head of someone like Jeremy Scott. But I thought it was an engaging tale from the moment it said go to its final moments, saying not everything in regards to life, but the most important things that matter to us, the people around us, and what it means to the cosmic entity of the universe. It's simply one of those movies that when you walk out of it, the grass seems a little bit greener, the sky is a little bit bluer, and the world is just a tiny bit brighter. It sticks with you after you see it, and I can't help but appreciate that. The technical aspects are also lovely. The cinematography was beautiful, not incredibly dynamic, but not intended to be, which I didn't mind. The music is by Mike Flanagan regulars, the Newton Brothers, and while not the most memorable thing ever, it still delivered a worthwhile and ongoing emotional track for all the right beats. The editing was good, it flowed and was well paced. Then there is the narration, which might be a bit much for some people, but it personally didn't bother me. It could have been maybe cut back slightly, but I don't view it as a negative. Plus, it's Nick Offerman. Who doesn't love Nick Offerman? If it was like Pauly Shore or Aziz Ansari, then it would be a bit more of a negative. Plus, it still shows and not tells with many other aspects in the movie. Little mannerisms and actions from certain characters that show you a lot more than what is presented in the film. Hence why the narration isn't the worst thing ever to me, because Mike Flanagan still understands showing and not telling. The acting from the all-star cast is fantastic. You have a mix of Mike Flanagan regulars, ones he's worked with a couple times before, and many who he has not worked with at all before this point. Chiwetel Ejiofor, Karen Gillan, Mark Hamill, Nick Offerman, Mia Sara, Annalise Basso, Taylor Gordon, Cara Lumley, Kate Siegel, Samantha Sloan, Matthew Lillard, Rahul Kohli, Heather Langenkamp, Violet McGraw, and David Dastmalchian, all in addition to all forms of our titular Chuck, whether that is Tom Hiddleston, Jacob Tremblay, Benjamin Pajak, or even Cody Flanagan, yes, the son of Mike Flanagan. All of them do a brilliant job in their roles. Pajak was especially a memorable performance for me and showcases how good Flanagan is as a director, because he can even bring great performances out of kids. But everyone did a great job here, even extremely small performances that helped showcase the little things and moments that I loved so much. Nobody delivered a bad performance here at all. The only negative I have to say is that I wished there was more of Act 2 and Tom Hiddleston. I understand it and I still liked it a lot, but it still felt sandwiched in between this great cosmic existentialism of Act 3 and the wholesome showcase of Act 1. Just wanted a tiny bit more is all. Despite this, I thought it was absolutely excellent in every other form, and I have no major complaints. Overall, the film, just like Chuck himself, is wonderful. It is a wonderful story and journey from beginning to end, or end to beginning. It showcases a wonderful thread of human moments and what makes life worth living when the only thing that is certain is the end of it. Mike Flanagan, 47 great years. Thanks, Mike. With that, I give this wonderful little movie a 9.5 out of 10. Next, we move on to your boy, Devin, aka Cinematic Sterling.
Well, looks like we got to keep this positive, bald East Coast trend going, but I'm not ashamed of it. Life of Chuck has been on my radar for a bit, not just because it's Stephen King and I love Stephen King, and it's Mike Flanagan. From what I've seen from that man, he has not made a bad movie, and I had the opportunity to see this movie early thanks to Regal's Monday mystery movie night, and this was the movie for the beginning of June. Stephen King and Mike Flanagan are a perfect combination, and Life of Chuck is proof of this. From Gerald's Game to Doctor Sleep to now this, the streak continues. At first, I was confused about what was happening because, keep in mind, I've never read the short story, so I don't know if this is similar to Sticks Close or it deviates. Because I'm like, all right, who's this guy Chuck, and why is the world ending? But as the movie progressed, I started to understand it, and it started to make sense for me. It starts with the world ending because Chuck is dying. His world is ending. So the world ends with him. I'm a sucker for some good nonlinear narration, and I found the approach of having Chuck's life told backwards, starting with his death and showing his childhood, was a pretty smart idea. As the movie progressed, I felt like Kronk. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. Life of Chuck is a movie that makes me feel different emotions. When it gets sad, I feel sad. But when I feel happy, I have the biggest fucking smile on my face. This is a movie that made me feel good. From Chuck dancing in the street, showing his classmates as a kid how to dance, or the sweet moments with his grandparents. I just loved it. I loved all the acting. Tom Hiddleston, he's great as Chuck, as well as the kids who play the younger versions of him. As a fan of the DC animated universe, seeing Carl Lumbly and Mark fucking Hamill, that definitely made me happy. Seeing Martian Manhunter and the Joker. By the way, it's nice seeing Carl Lumbly after he was in Doctor Sleep as Dick Halloran. And all the rest of the actors, from their minor roles, whether it's Karen Gillan, Chiwetel Ejiofor, I don't know how to say that name.
Chiwetel Ejiofor, I believe is how you pronounce it.
What he said. Mia Sara, Matthew Lillard, Heather Langenkamp, and Kate Siegel, they all do great in supporting or minor roles. I also liked Nick Offerman's narration. Sure, there is the issue of show, don't tell. I understand why people have that problem. But like with John, I didn't mind it. Because I see the narration, because this is how I see the narration. I see this movie as it's like a story being told to a child, like while they're getting ready for bed. I don't know. That's just what I get out of it. The narration didn't bother me. I think it did a good job adding to the story. The movie is extremely well paced. It's well written. It's well directed. I don't really have a lot of issues with this movie. I gotta say, Regal, you've definitely stepped up your game with Monday Mystery Movies this year. Because we got another mystery movie that is definitely gonna make it on my best of the year list. In the year where we got good mystery movies like this, Better Man, Companion, or Bring Her Back, I'm glad you stepped up your game. There's no Mafia Mama or Paint or Freelance with John Cena. I absolutely love this movie. I'd say 2025 is a good year to be a Stephen King fan, because The Monkey was a ton of fun. This was excellent, and we're getting Welcome to Derry and The Long Walk, which I am extremely, extremely ecstatic for. I go see this movie especially if you need a good feel good movie, especially in the times we're living in now. I'd say give this a shot. Shut up, Toby. Anyway, thanks, Chuck. And that's why I am giving this a Chuck out of 10.
AKA a 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Now we have the man that is always on the right, never on the left. That is the right dude.
All right.
Although, ironically, now he's on the left. Whoops-a-daisies.
Yeah, whatever. Let me go ahead and pull up my review. Okay. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. Okay. So, Life of Chuck. While I wouldn't call myself a massive Mike Flanagan fan, from what I've seen from him, I have enjoyed some of the movies he's made, like Dr. Sleep, The Fall of House of Usher. I was at least curious about checking this movie out because, one, it's based on a Stephen King novel, and I pretty much got introduced to him in middle school through my mom and my older brother. So this got me a little bit curious about it, and plus we agreed to do a review of it. So I was like, okay. So I saw it last night, and after seeing it, did it live up to my expectations? For some ways, yes, but in other ways, no. It is still an enjoyable movie, and I could see why so many people absolutely love it, and maybe some might even call it Mike Flanagan's magnum opus, but unfortunately, there were moments I can't honestly go that far. In fact, there were, like I said, it was enjoyable, but at the same time, I can't help but be a tad disappointed. Let me just start with the positives real quick. The performances were very well done from everyone from Chiwetel, I'm not even going to pronounce that last name, as the teacher Marty, to Karen
I would
Gill.
tell Ejiofor.
Yeah, I'll go with that. To Karen Gillan as his ex-wife Alicia, to Mark Hamill as Chuck's grandfather. They all did great. Even Tom Hiddleston, despite not really having a lot of dialogue and not really having too much screen time, despite him being like the character we're supposed to be following, he does well for what he's given. The cinematography is well shot, unique angles, it's all creative, and it works well. And I will say that I also love the backwards storytelling structure, the non-linear kind of storytelling. I'm a sucker for those kinds of movies like Pulp Fiction, Strange Darling, Memento, you name it. Like those that are structured out of order, it helps the audience piece everything together themselves, and the audience starts to understand it as more pieces of the puzzle fits together. So it gets confusing, but as you watch the movie you'll have an understand on what the big picture is. So I do like movies like that. Now, I do have some issues, and unfortunately they're big issues, and this is preventing me from saying that this is a perfect 10 out of 10, like the two bald-headed guys who went ahead. Joking, but I'm sorry, but I just found the narration to be pretty unnecessary. Like, well, I mean, I'm not against narration in movies. I just found whatever the narrator speaking to be just pointless. So I don't have a problem with Nick Offerman narrating, but it just seems like a lot of the things he's doing is just spouting out the obvious, though. Like, what is the point of just you telling us everything when it's already happening on screen? It was just distracting a bit. If I wanted to listen to the audiobook, I would have downloaded Audible and listened to my car. No, we are not sponsored. And also, I found parts of it just to be dragging a little bit, and it probably slowed down the pacing for me. Like there were times where mainly certain sections, I got maybe a tad bit bored a little bit on maybe like the first and third act. The second act, I felt like was entertaining, but I felt like you could have cut the dancing part cut it down just a little bit. So it did have a little bit of pacing issues here and there. But I mean, while I enjoyed this movie fine and would recommend to any Stephen King or Mike Flanagan fan, I can't say it's a masterpiece. But I mean, but seeing how well everyone loves this movie, I guess I'm in the minority. So, but whatever. But if you want to check it out, I would say maybe give it a matinee. Mike Flanagan, while you did get a pass from me, I hope you learn from your mistakes and improve on them for next time. So, and with that, my score is a 7 out of 10.
Now we have Mark, and this is going to be long.
It's not that long. That's what she said. I fully expected to love this film, which makes it all the more bitter that I felt quite the opposite, sadly. Yes, I am the odd man out here, one of the very few who did not like this film. But before this film, I held Mike Flanagan on a pedestal reserved for few and far between. But my faith in him now lies shaken, if not quite in ruins. It's not my cynicism. I love The Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile, having read the latter as well when it came out in serial form, both stories leaving me a sobbing mess. This film, however, only brought tears of frustration. For one, unlike those earlier drama, the sweetness feels unearned, more overly saccharine and shallow than genuine, with all the sentimentality and sincerity of a Hallmark card. Shawshank and Green Mile show their protagonists suffer a variety of afflictions before their ultimate apotheosis, while this film lacks any such parallel to give it any real emotional depth and an equally powerful gut punch. Anything bad that happens to him occurs either off screen or in fleeting glimpses, or quite frankly, doesn't really seem all that bad. The ending falls flat with a dull thud, hardly the shocking revelation it clearly intended, but rather something that should be painfully obvious to all. Imagine being shocked to learn that you are going to die someday. Thus, the structure, while creative, comes off as more gimmicky than anything else. The grating narration added to my woes in this film. Red's narration in Shawshank works because A, he's Morgan Freeman, B, he's an integral character within the story, reflecting on the past, and C, it's used sparingly and wisely, complementing the action happening on screen. In this film, by contrast, it comes off as intrusive and unnecessary, mere large blocks of text ripped straight from the book, inserting themselves into the narrative rather than letting the action on screen speak for itself. As a result, it feels more like listening to the audiobook than watching a movie. I love Audible too, and it has its place, and that place is not on the big screen during the film. I do get what Mike Flanagan and Stephen King aim to do. I understand the idea of a universe contained within one's mind that passes away with you. I understand the idea of spontaneity and joie de vivre in the face of death and uncertainty. I just don't feel that this quite hits the mark. It fails to accomplish what it sets out to do. It feels like a good movie wrapped inside of a bad one, a nice message wrapped in terrible packaging. I'm happy if this worked for you, but it surely did it for me. I expect King adaptations to be hit or miss, but I never would have expected such a misfire from Mike Flanagan, of all people. Sadly, he no longer ranks among the short list of creators that I trust implicitly. I'm not saying he's a bad director by any means, just that I will be a lot more cautious going forward. And at the end of the day, that burns most of all. So my score is a very sad 3 out of 10. Just did not do it for me. And Devin is about to explode there.
Okay, we can unmute now.
So, how about those Jets?
How about those Jets?
Yeah, Mark isn't like, oh, thank you, Chuck. He's like, nah, fuck you, Chuck. You deserve to die.
Much, yeah. I mean, jeez. I mean, honestly, Tom Hiddleston was hardly in this movie.
Yeah, that was my only slight, very, very slight negative is that he was not in the movie for very much. Yet I understand why he was plastered over the marketing, because it's who are you going to sell? Benjamin Pajak? That dude doesn't even have a movie to his name. And Tom Hiddleston, well, he's Loki. So, of course, they're going to show him off and sell him. So that makes sense. I get it. But I do wish we saw a little bit more of him, especially when his act was the shortest out of all of them.
Yeah.
With only appearing as a glimpse in Act 1 or
basically
the end of the movie.
Stars. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, his dancing and Annalise Basso's dancing was really fucking good. I will say that.
The dancing was good. Yeah. But it turned to Dancing with the Stars there for a moment. But not that it was.
But I mean, I just felt like in the second act, the dancing kind of went on for a little too long. Could have been maybe trimmed down. So,
I think it was I think the reason why it was so long was because it was finally, Chuck touching upon his childhood that he hadn't in such a long time. And it wanted to really showcase and embellish that. And I feel like then after knowing everything in Act 1, it puts everything more into perspective, which is why I didn't hate it or appreciate it. Because I'm oh, the interesting dancing thing. I'm okay, this is intriguing. And then watching Act 1, I'm okay, now everything makes sense. It puts everything into perspective. Yeah. And I
get I'm not saying get rid of the dancing scene.
No, I know.
But I mean, I get why it's there, but it's just
I get it.
Right.
I just felt like it was going on for a little long. So, but that's just me. So,
yeah, I just I didn't think it was too bad. I liked the point of it.
I didn't mind the dancing. No, I just honestly, the message at the end when he said, "I think that's why God created the world." Really? I mean, come on. I mean, that's.
By the way, speaking of dancing scene, and I mentioned this in the chat, during the prom scene on the stage, the guy on the stage on the electric keyboard, it literally looked like Mark. I kept seeing scraggly hair, scraggly beard, you know. I'm just like, hey, Mark, I didn't know you were in this movie.
I thought I didn't see him all that well. He was kind of like a blink and you'll miss it kind of thing. But
yeah,
I thought I really like Benjamin Pajak in this movie, or Pajak or however you pronounce it. But I thought he was really good. I think like a lot of the movie relies on him, and I think he did such an amazing job. And especially as someone that young, and someone who is like dealing with greats like Mark Hamill and all their like way more experienced actors, and holding a candle to them and having a conversation with them, but also showcasing this certain sadness of his life, but also at the same time this certain happiness, and having this like ongoing sort of like battle within himself of like happiness versus sadness, which I felt was very interesting. And I thought he nailed that very well. And I always have to point out, not because like kid actors are usually like can do the material or are really bad. So I always like to showcase whenever a kid can do something that good, especially with other much better actors around him. So I really like that.
Yeah, the kid was good. I thought Mark Hamill was great too, by the way. I thought Mark Hamill was probably the best part of the film, really. I mean, he killed it. But although he did kind of shit on the poor kid's dreams. I mean, like, shit, goddamn. I mean, I get that he's trying to help him. I mean, he's giving him a dose of reality, but shit. I mean, damn. Let the kid at least try, man.
But it's like, it's very much like that old school way of thinking, which is, I get it.
I get it.
It's like that harshness of like the older generations of like, well, yeah, this dancing thing, but like, you can't make a living and and so it's like and plus it also like kind of worked because of what was it? It also worked because of how like everything like came into the fold and what would happen later and all that. So I did think it worked, and I did like those. And Mark Hamill is always great.
Yeah.
Even if the movie sucks, if he's in it, he's always going to do a good job. And the way I see it, I mean, I'm pretty sure all of our grandparents at some point were all like, "Hey, you want to do that? Well, back in my day, maybe you should try doing this." And I mean, he did take his grandpa's advice. I mean, he went on to become an accountant. Like, did he not?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He could do. And I loved his speech. Like everything we do is math. Like there's math in everything.
Yeah. As someone who actually likes math, I think that I appreciated that. It all starts with math. And I like math. And I know everyone is like, math sucks. I'm like, well, guess what? You're a bitch. So eat a dick. Math is amazing. Mark Hamill thinks so. So Luke Skywalker says math is awesome.
I haven't taken a math class since like my first year of college.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, I know.
I was gonna say, obviously. John got straight A's in calculus.
No, I didn't. I wasn't that good. I liked numbers. Like I liked the logistics of it, which is funny because I'm a guy that wants to make movies, which is like the complete opposite of like logic and logistics. But I just found math. It's like it's point A to point B, very like easy to understand. It's not like, oh, you have to. I mean, no offense, Mark. I did like history. I'm just saying, there's a lot of things to remember.
I love math too. I mean, really. I mean, I was good at math too because it's like one of my best friends, who's now a principal. He started out as a math teacher. Was a math teacher when I started, and we would talk, and he would say that the thing he likes about history is you can debate history, and I would say that the thing I like about math is that it's the answer is what it is. It doesn't matter what the teacher says. I mean, you could literally prove it. I mean, it is what it is. So, I mean, it's step by step. I mean, so, I mean, there's good and bad about both of you. I mean, so.
Yeah.
I did like the Carl Sagan thing, of course. I mean, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, Carl Sagan's the GOAT. So, you know. I really liked that, and but yeah, just like English history, all this analysis, no math, but I liked the Carl Sagan bit. I liked. It's just like I feel like what was ironic out of this movie is like because maybe it's because we've gotten like 5 miniseries slash TV shows from Mike Flanagan. I honestly think this would have been better as a miniseries, like a little bit, like expanding more on the short stories a little bit more. Mike Flanagan doing more of his flares, and but I think like it would have worked better as like those like longer moments because I feel like there could have been a little bit more in terms of the character interactions and what was going on. So I think that that's I think again it's not a major negative. I would say like it's a nitpick at best, but I just like because it's like the way that the acts were structured, it felt like 3 very different stories. So I'm like maybe it could have worked better as a miniseries. Obviously, we'll never know. Maybe because it's so short, they're short stories, so it's like, might as well just stick them in a movie. But I don't know. I just think Mike Flanagan works best in TV than in movies. Although his movies are excellent. I'm not denying that. Gerald's Game and Doctor Sleep are fucking fantastic. Oculus is also really great. A lot of people forget about that one. I have not and Hush is also really good. I know some people didn't like it when it came out, but I have not seen his very first movie, Absentia, which is like the thing that like really got a face. He did like some directorial work before then, early on in his career that never really gets mentioned. But I haven't seen Absentia, and I have not seen Before I Wake. I think those are the only 2 Flanagan movies I have not seen. I think I've seen everything else from him. But yeah, he's one of my favorite filmmakers, and ironically, Eggers, Perkins, and Flanagan. Well, 2 of those did a Stephen King adaptation. Robert Eggers, it's your turn to do a Stephen King adaptation. I don't know how you're going to make that work, but
yeah, because is there anything period piece wise? Eye of the Dragon?
It in the original 50s.
Yeah, but didn't he say like he wouldn't do anything past like I think he said like the 30s, maybe the 40s?
I don't remember what specifically. I think he's never really given an exact date.
Yeah, I mean,
no, I know, but I'm just joking around. But I'm just saying, like, I mean, he could take a Stephen King story and just like put it in like an older period. Honestly, like, even though I want to see Mike Flanagan's Dark Tower, I could see Eggers doing that because it's like a science fiction Western. So I think he could probably do that very well.
Yeah.
Probably do it correctly.
Although it does include modern day stuff. So I mean,
that is true. But
yeah,
I don't know. He could probably make it work. But yeah, I think this is definitely one of my favorite King adaptations. I think I put it as number 8 out of 10. So like it would be on my 8th on my top 10.
I'd really have to go through them all to see where this might go.
Yeah. I liked the monkey a little bit more. Like I just love the insanity of that movie. And I do love Oz Perkins, and it's like I knew it was gonna be insane, but then it just went like all the way to 11, and that was just awesome. Like that was really good, but like it's really close. As I've said before, maybe on the show, maybe not. My favorite's probably Shawshank Redemption. But Misery is up there. Stand By Me is up there. Gerald's Game is up there. Dr. Sleep is up there. And I like the remakes of Carrie and Pet Sematary. I think those are up there.
Green Mile.
I haven't watched Green Mile.
Green Mile's great.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing.
And let's not forget your favorite Stephen King adaptation, John, The Shining.
That's bottom 5. That's
there for me.
That's my top That's in my
Fair for
bottom
me.
3 of Stephen King adaptations. Although the worst remains now to be Maximum Overdrive. Fuck Maximum Overdrive. It's so funny. When is it
No,
funny?
not.
Because I was fucking falling asleep during that goddamn shit fest.
Yeah, we were bored. Yeah, we were bored out of our minds.
Oh wait. Oh, look at pull up Zach's in the chat.
Yeah, Zach, how about you can fucking suck this dick, all right? Mr. fucking Professor of Bad Taste. Get the fuck out of here. But I don't know. If we have nothing more to say, we could just like end it here if you want. It feels like we have nothing else to really say about this movie. I mean, I felt like there should be more of a discussion here, but I guess we all just have so different like views that isn't much to discuss.
We'll just say this. 2 loved it, 1 liked it okay, and another hated it.
Yeah.
There you go. Take that for what it's worth.
But you're muted, Mark.
Oh, sorry. I mean, it said the vast majority of people loved it. So I mean, you're probably gonna love it, if you go see it. So I mean,
yeah. I mean, I still think. And here's the thing, I view it as this, like, because I think Sinners was a big win for original movies this year, because that had one of like the best like money runs for its like first month and a half, and I think that was great. So it's just like, I know it's based on a short story. It's not technically original, but it's more original than, another superhero movie. So like, or another, kaiju movie or something like that, or another big franchise.
Or another remake.
So I don't know. It's just like, if you want something a little bit unique, a little bit more unique, a little bit more interesting, but also like at the same time, really wholesome and really like maybe can tug at your heartstrings, maybe get within like the idea of like the whole cosmic existentialist nature of it. As I've said many times before, Mike Flanagan is in his philosophical phase. I think he has been since Midnight Mass. So it makes sense that he does a movie like this where it's just very like driven by the philosophies of humans and human life and death and the cosmic awareness of the universe type of thing. But it's not for everybody. It's maybe the narration will grate on you. Maybe it's just too existentialist for some people, too surreal, too out there. So I think so that might get some people on it, maybe not. But I really enjoyed it. I think it worked, but maybe it didn't, and that's okay. But it's a good time.
Okay.
Chuck? No joke. After Act 1 ended, like there was the cut to black, and everyone in my screen was all confused. Like, what's happening? And then out loud, someone just said, "Thanks, Chuck."
Yeah, I liked that. 39 great years. It also reminded me of a quote from, ironically, Gabriel Iglesias, where he's like, "It's not about it's not about how many years there are; it's how good the years were." I feel like that's also a very prominent case in this. It's like the idea of like nothing is original anymore. Of course, like the idea, life is short. Wow, crazy. But like the way Mike Flanagan went about it, I think was very interesting. Damn it, Toby, and Mia. Hello there. Cat buttholes, ladies and gents. But I think I just think it worked.
See, kids, this is what happens when catnip is involved.
Yes, weed for cats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if you guys. I think I've worn this shirt before though on the live stream, so I don't know, but yeah. But that's that. Let's just say that's it. We can cut it short for now. I mean, I don't want to like drag this on because I feel like I'm the only person talking, so I don't want to drag this on for longer than it needs to be. So hey Rob, why don't you announce the next review?
The next review is actually going to be tomorrow. Yes, you're getting 2 reviews in one weekend.
Again.
Again. So anyway, tomorrow we will be reviewing the superior film between these two for the movies that we're reviewing this weekend.
That's the way you want to, you little shit. Fine.
Yeah, now you're not announcing it. Tomorrow, you guys are doing the Phoenician Scheme. I won't be part of that because I never saw it because I'm not a big Wes Anderson fan. I respect the man. I respect what he does. He's the only director that uses color nowadays. So, like, way to go, Wes Anderson. But I respect him a lot. He's just not my cup of tea.
Pedro Almodovar uses color too, though.
But I'll be hosting.
Obviously, that's a joke. It's just like I
get what you're saying.
I'm so sick of directors using brown and gray and for everything. So anyway,
all right. But anyway, I'll be directing, I'll be hosting the review for tomorrow. The Phoenician Scheme, directed by Wes Anderson.
No. It's secretly directed by Rob. Rob actually did the movie, and Wes Anderson is just taking credit for it. We know the truth. The truth is out there. Insert X-Files theme here.
May I offer you a hand grenade?
Yes. Yes, thank you.
How about you can offer me a better Wes Anderson movie?
Ouch. Oh God. But that is it. We have the Phoenician Scheme tomorrow. And then for next week, I do want to announce next week's because that's the usual shtick.
Yeah.
Next week's then is I forget.
I know what it
28
is.
years later or Elio.
It's 28 years later.
Okay, so it is 28 years later. And that will be hosted by Rome. So stay tuned for that. So we have Phoenician Scheme tomorrow, and then 28 years later. We are packed this month, guys. We have. I think we're doing like 8 reviews this month.
This makes up for the one content in May.
Yeah. So get pumped for that. But before we end the review, remember, you're wonderful.
Once again, we have brought light into the world. You're welcome.